This podcast is scheduled for one fall.
Whoa, who let you out of the basement? Let me do this. This podcast is scheduled for one fall, and I'm still not reading any of this other crap you wrote, so just click your buttons and start the show.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to the Gimmick Table. What are you doing? Well, that lovely melody that you are hearing right now is my co-host. He is the 2017 to my 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he is Bats.
What does that even mean?
Well, that means, like 2017, everybody wants to forget about you.
Like 2018, nobody's looking forward to seeing you.
It's the first of the year. Everybody's got hope still. I'm everybody's hope. You're what everybody wishes to forget. That's why everybody drank so much last night and is listening to this with a hangover right now.
I mean, that's probably because they were celebrating how awesome I am.
Yeah, I don't think New Year's is a celebration of you. But
Agree to disagree.
We've talked about you too much on this episode already. And guys, momentarily we are going to be joined by Chris Cayden. He is one half of the Upstate Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions as part of Defiant. He's going to talk about his time in wrestling and his upcoming title defense at UPW The Merge, which is going to be taking place on January 13th in Rochester, New York. Before we get to that, quick heads up. Entry for our December contest has closed, and we are going to be shortly announcing the winner of the autograph photograph 8x10 of Cody Rhodes. So make sure you listen. Follow us on Twitter at gimmick_table because we think we're going to announce that on a Periscope.
Yeah, spoiler alert, we're going to do that.
We're going to do that. That's what he says. And remember, as always, get all our past and present interviews on iTunes and make sure to subscribe because it's tremendous help to the show. Helps get our guest out to a greater audience as well. And make sure you check out gimmicktablepod.com. You can go on there, find all our interviews, cover art, merchandise, and contest information for our upcoming contest that we'll probably be having another one in February. All right, with that said, let's get right into today's show. And please join us in welcoming Chris Cayden to the Gimmick Table. How goes it today, Chris?
It goes. It's beautiful out. It's snowing. It's been snowing. Just love it.
You're up in the Rochester area. We, unfortunately, here in Binghamton have the coldness, but not any of the beautiful snow that comes with the winter season. As it usually is in Binghamton, we get about snow for a day, and then the snow turns to that really ugly color.
Yeah, no, it's still white, and there are no plows on the road, so, yeah, it's real fun to drive.
Well, you guys, I know we're considered upstate, but you guys truly are upstate New York.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us today on our very first episode of 2018 on the first day of the new year. Thank you for joining us. Thank you actually to RJ for helping us connect with you, our good friend on Twitter.
Yes, good man, good people. He spoke to him a couple days ago. Good guy.
Yeah, I still got to check out that episode. Make sure you actually just had an interview over on the Ringside Rant with our friend RJ. So guys, obviously after you listen to the Gimmick Table, go ahead and check that one out as well.
Of course.
Now, what is your New Year's resolution since we are talking to you here on the first of the year?
It's probably, I'm thinking not to drink as much beer and alcohol as I drank this year.
Well, why would you want to do that?
I was straight edge for almost 3 some odd years or something like that, so I might go back to that, just cut down some weight, get into good shape, and we'll go from there.
Give the body a break. Give it time to relax and mend its wounds.
Exactly.
See, my resolution is like the opposite of that. I'm just going to get fatter and drink more.
Very nice.
The life goals of people from Binghamton, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, there is nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just got to go in and just live life to the fullest.
Going all in on it.
But if you knew him, you'd understand he's not truly living life to the fullest.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
Now, my resolution, though, is I want to be more appreciative of the people that help us out here on the show. So I just want to take this opportunity to just stop the episode for a second and say thank you to our sound guy, Cade, for all the wonderful work that he does. And that's really all the people I have to thank at this time.
At least it's one person. That's nice.
Yeah.
I was hoping I would get more of a reaction out of my co-host, but He just doesn't care.
I know that's what you were hoping for, and that's why I didn't give it to you.
Aw, boo.
Yep, see, he doesn't know. He doesn't get it. But, no, I really do appreciate him. He's a good guy. And also everybody else who helps us out there, thank you so much. I could spend hours sitting here, naming off people. But we're here to talk about you. And your in-ring career actually began back in 2001. So what first sparked your interest in wrestling?
Well, I've always been a fan of watching it on television. Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Undertaker, those old school 80s kind of names. I always loved watching them, the Big Boss Man. And I just, it always grew on me. And then one year I was just like, I'm going to do this seriously. And it just went from there.
Now, do you recall a particular moment early on watching it on television where it really did build that connection with you to the wrestling?
A particular moment? No, I can't really name one, to be honest, because every time I watched it, I was enthralled. I was in it. I was there, basically. And from that point on, that was it. That's what I wanted to do.
And why do you feel that you had such a connection with wrestling at that time?
That's a good question. I always felt like the wrestling I do now is basically what they did in the 80s. I just add a little more comedy to it. I'm not a giant high flyer. I'm not a luchador. But, if you watch my in-ring skills, you're like, wow, he's really old school. And that it always just grew on me. It was something that just stuck out to me, and I just loved performing and being old school, basically.
So kind of elaborate on this, because you said how you kind of went from, being a fan to saying, hey, I can do this. How did you first get your foot in the door and begin your training?
Well, it started with that little thing that no wrestler likes to say. I used to do the backyard thing. I would jump off playground sets, dropping an elbow on somebody, doing a flip in midair, and that was the way I started. And I already had almost a amateur background because I was doing high school wrestling, and then I did college wrestling, and then I just took that all together. And a friend of mine really helped me he showed me the ropes. A man named Tony Fatu or Tony Colangelo. He's up in I think it's Orange County. I think that's where he is, but he really showed me the ropes. I kind of had a grasp of it, but he kind of just laid the groundwork for everything and showed me how everything should go rather than me trying to guess at how to do it. And I took that and I went to New Jersey and I trained at ACE, American Championship Entertainment, and I trained with some names over there, and the rest is history.
So kind of take us through that first day of training.
I got my ass kicked. I did a lot of just working out, a lot of calisthenics. I really didn't get in the ring, the first day. I was mostly trying to see if I could get through a day without having to throw up. And the first day I got through it, but after that, there was a couple times where I probably threw up everywhere. Sometimes I still throw up, but it is what it is. Yeah, it was very rigorous activity. A lot of working out, like I said, a lot of calisthenics, running, just trying to see if you had that cardio in you.
Well, yeah, but with the whole throwing up thing, I mean, it shows that you're just trying really hard because you're pushing yourself to the limit.
I was, and I wasn't really at that time. I wasn't really pushing myself. But then when I stepped into the arena, it was go hard or go home, and I would literally go as hard as I could, and my body would be like, probably not a good idea. And next thing you know, I'm projectile vomiting everywhere.
Now, early on, was there ever a moment during your training that got to be too much for you and you just wanted to hang it up and not pursue being a professional wrestler?
There were times where I started really doubting myself with some moves that people were doing. I just felt that I couldn't do them. But one of the guys I worked with really kind of pushed me at the time, and he made sure that I felt comfortable and safe to do them. And I did them, and I stayed with it. But then there were other times where a certain trainer or something would show up and might not have had a great day and put a good whooping on one of the trainees. And I'm just watching this I didn't sign up to get my ass kicked like this. And again, I started doubting myself. But then I'm like, this guy really didn't make it. Who the hell is he to really tell me, who I am or what I can do? And the next thing you know, me and him are buddies. So maybe he just didn't like that guy. I don't know.
And to be fair, you did kind of sign up to get your ass kicked.
Yeah. The more you think about it, it's like, well, for the first couple of months, years, you're pretty much going to get the shit kicked out of you. So, yeah, I did. I can't disagree.
But you continued with it, and eventually you're going to make your in-ring debut. So kind of tell us about that. What's going through your mind when you're about to step into the ring for the very first time?
Well, you didn't want to look stupid. I wanted to like really, have a good match. I was hoping that I would be in, top physical form, but, I'm not the Greek god that everybody else wants to be or aims to be. I am what I am. I'm about 5'6", 5'7". I'm quite short, but back then I was built like a brick house. I was almost 200 some odd pounds, 230. And I didn't want to look stupid. I was going in there and was nervous. I had the shakes. I wanted to perform well, and I didn't want to let anyone down. That's pretty much what most people do when they get in their first match.
And did it turn out as you expected? What was that first match like?
It was a squash. It was just basically me getting my ass kicked from ring post to ring post and selling for this person and making him look good, and that was it.
And what was that like? Obviously, you see what you see on television, and obviously where you are now, a lot different than what it was like then. But what was it like just to actually have that experience of being in the ring for that very first time?
Oh, it was exciting. It was like basically living out a dream. You're getting to be the thing that you're getting to do the thing that you want to do most. And I wanted to step in the ring. I wanted to be an entertainer. I love putting on an event or a show for an audience, and this was my chance. And I was living up to it. I was living my dream, and I got to do it in front of family and friends, and it was awesome.
And that's great. And while it was, like you said, a squash match, what were some of the things that you were able to take away as lessons from that match?
Wrestling is real. No matter what anybody says, the moves hurt. You have to have a lot of cardio. And at that point, it kind of dawned on me. I took away a little something called a gimmick. You need a gimmick. And if you don't have a gimmick, you're not really... You're going to be vanilla. You're going to be just like everybody else. And it kind of dawned on me my very first match.
And how important do you think that was?
Extremely important, because it made me be the person who I am now. Like, I was able to come up with something that was going to be different than everyone else. Wrestling, everyone's copied everybody. Everyone does everyone's moves. Everyone acts like everybody else. But, there was something about it that I wanted to be different. I wanted to be a standout, and I saw it right away, and I latched onto that.
All right, now, another thing I wanted to kind of touch on, because you mentioned this early on, going through that first match and when you were in training, building confidence. Was there ever a moment when you did find that confidence while you were in the ring?
Yes. There was it was probably a couple years down the road. I was always nervous going into a match. But, most people are, to be honest, because if you don't have those jitters, then something's wrong. Those jitters, they're good. They're good for you because it means that you're on your toes. You're excited. You want to put on a great event, great show, great match. And one day I was having a match with somebody, and the crowd was really, they were eating it up. And basically, we had them in the palm of our hand, and I just felt it, and I was like, wow, I got this. Is this what I am? Is this who I am? And I just rolled with it. And from then on, it's just been awesome. Like that, I felt like that one match was probably a good turning point.
Yeah, and from what I've been able to see of you, along with what you've kind of mentioned in this interview, getting over with the fans like you mentioned, how important is that to you, creating that connection with the fans?
Oh, it's so important, because if you don't create that connection with the fans, it's like a match that everyone else can put on. From, I'm going to name drop some guys, but from a Cheech to a Cloudy to a Sean Carr to a Thomas Burlington, Eric Emanon, all these guys, they can put on a great match, but can you connect with the crowd? Because if you're getting beat up and the crowd is just, they feel so bad and they want you to fight back and they're screaming, they're yelling for you, they're enjoying that because they are invested in you. They want you to be their guy. And, turn it around, you're a heel, you're cursing at them, you're swearing at them, you're eating it up, you're just pandering to the crowd, and they're yelling back at you. They hate you with a passion. They want to see you get beat up. That means everything because now they're part of the show and they're having more. They're being entertained, and that's the job. That's what you're there for.
Right, absolutely. And that's something we hear from like all of our guests is that is a great feeling to have like that energy of the crowd and being like in control of that energy. And it's just like a crazy addiction that you get once you feel it.
Oh, absolutely. Like as soon as I had a match probably a couple weeks back, and me and my partner got in the ring, and I did the boo yay, and this guy smacks my hand out, and I look at the audience, and I just start chanting, he's not nice. And within 3 seconds, the whole crowd is chanting, he's not nice. My partner looks into the audience, and he sees that the beef jerky guy is selling beef jerky. And he yells him out, and he's like, how's your beef hanging? Next thing you know, the crowd is chanting, eat his meat. It's from that point on, it was like, all right, we have the crowd in our hands. Like, I had them chanting headlock, wrist lock, hammer lock. Like, this is the first 2 minutes of the match.
Crazy.
So yeah, and that's just how you got them. That's it. And it just makes the match so much better, and it makes it easier to work with.
Definitely. And so kind of going back to what I said, how have you evolved that ability to get the fans connected to you?
It's funny. In the beginning, I was a face. I was a good guy, and I for a little time I liked it, and then I started really despising it because, to be honest, I can be a total a-hole, and I was just like, I can't really reach the crowd the way I want to. So as time went by, I became a heel, turned on one of my partners, and I just let the crowd have it. Like the crowd in Jersey, I basically let them know how I really felt about them. And from that point on, it just grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And people were coming to see, who's this asshole? Who's Chris Cayden? And I just took it and ran with it. And that basically what's made me.
Kind of elaborate on us, because this is the gimmick table. Who is Chris Cayden?
Chris Cayden is that loudmouth, obnoxious piece of shit that basically you want to punch in the face sometimes because he's just so annoying. But when he's getting beat up, you feel so bad for him. You want to be in that ring. You want to be his partner. You want the tag so you can help him out. He's that guy. He's your guy. He's everybody's guy. He's everyone's favorite role model. I haven't said that in so long. Jesus Christ.
So he is kind of
that was like my first gimmick. Everyone's favorite role model. Now I have so many names. Like when I introduce myself, it can go for like 5 minutes.
And what are some of those names that you?
Yeah,
use?
I'd like to hear a 5-minute rollout right here.
Yeah, we got time.
All right, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Go right ahead.
All right. Let me take a breather. All right. I am Mr. Charisma Personified. I'm pretty much known worldwide. I'm the host with the most. I give the D from coast to coast. Some call me vintage. Others call me classic. I'm simply fantastic. I am yours truly, everyone's favorite role model. From the 585 by way of 718, my name is Chris Cayden. Hello.
I like it. All right.
Yeah, and it's still growing. Believe me. My partner hates me because we'll introduce, like I was on the pain clinic in Rochester, and I introduced myself, and they were like, oh, I'm sorry, what was your name? And he looks at me and he's like, oh, Jesus, go ahead. And I did the whole introduction. People are calling in laughing hysterically about it.
Now, I was going to say earlier, you are kind of like my co-host where people want to punch you in the face, but the only difference is nobody wants to help him when he's getting his ass kicked.
Oh, that's horrible. It happens. It's all right. Sooner or later, maybe they'll start pitying you and they'll feel bad for you.
That's kind of how I got all my dates in high school.
Oh, pity.
So sad, so sad.
Now you are based out of Rochester, and your home promotion is Upstate Pro Wrestling.
That is correct. I am based out of the 585, and my promotion is Upstate Professional Wrestling, formerly NWA New York or Empire. I don't know what the hell they called it back then, but that was before my time.
Now, how did you end up working for them?
I moved to Rochester, and it was around that time where, funny thing, I thought, my career was coming to an end. I wasn't going to wrestle anymore because I couldn't really find any promotions. I did find a promotion in Syracuse. Was it Syracuse? Was it all? Might have been Syracuse. I think it was Syracuse. 2CW.
Yes.
And I also found a promotion up in Rochester. I was going online, and I was like, oh, what's this? Upstate Pro. I was like, let me check this out. And, I was Googling it, and I just happened to find out that where I lived was pretty much down the block from the school. And I was like, oh, shit, it's walking distance. And so I checked it out one day, and the boss happened to be in there, Hellcat. And I was like, yo, can I just hit the ropes for a little bit? He's like, yeah, man, go ahead, check it out. So, I hit the ropes and all. A bunch of the guys come in, and, they're getting ready to train, and they've never seen me before. So, I let them do their thing, and they were like, yo, all right, man, we're good. And they get out of the ring for a little bit and just, take a break. And I got in, started running the ropes and doing rolls, and they started yelling at me. They're like, yo, who's this spy? Who the f- is this guy? Oh, yo, he's from Buffalo. And I was just like, what? No idea what the hell they were talking about. And then they just happened to find out from the boss. They were like, nah, man, he used to wrestle in Jersey and Brooklyn, and he just moved up here. And they were like, oh, shit, all right, blah, 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 LA. And that was the first time I met my partner now, Maximo Suave.
All right. Now, for us and our listeners, kind of give us an overview of what somebody can expect at a UPW show.
Oh, my God. What can they expect? They can expect everything. They can expect family entertainment. They can expect wrestlers going into the crowd, punching the shit out of other wrestlers. They can expect a good friggin' time, good food, good drinks, great atmosphere. I don't know if you know, but we originally had the student shows. KDW was the Kayfabe Dojo. They ran their own shows, but we're all coming together under one umbrella now, and it's all going to be UPW, so everything changes. Everything's merging on January 13th.
Well, that should be good for business.
Yeah, everything is becoming one, and we're running out of Pineapple Jacks, and we'll also be running out of Webster, New York, one of the sports facilities over there. We ran it a couple of years ago, and we're heading back there again. So should be a good time. It's a great product. A lot of people have walked through these doors. A lot of people still here, and it's a hell of a show that we put on.
Yeah, I got a chance to check out the website and just looking through some of the alumni, and your current roster. There's a lot of good names out there. Speaking of that, it's 2018. Independent wrestling is booming. What do you think separates UPW from other promotions?
It's a good question. I feel like UPW really, it has its own vibe. It has its own following. I've heard that before. I've heard that with old school ECW. It had its own vibe. It had its own fans, and that's exactly what we have. And we have a good culture, and we just put on some great friggin' events. And to be honest, we don't need big names. We don't have to get these big names out in the independent scene to come and put on a great show, because we got great names on our roster. And I think that's what separates us from other promotions. Not saying that's a bad thing, but what I'm saying is we don't need other guys to make our shows that much more impactful.
No, I think that's pretty spot on, and kind of personifies the vibe of like Rochester and that upstate New York area. Is you guys all got your own kind of different vibe going on.
Yeah, we love wrestling. Everyone on this roster everyone is different than the other person. There is no, oh, that guy's, oh yeah, he's a serious wrestler, and oh, that guy's a serious wrestler. No. You got a cowboy, you got a friggin' biker, you have this guy who's a student teacher, which is he's pretty much actually really a teacher. And then you got this loudmouth son of a bitch named Chris Cayden. And then you got his Spanish partner, Maximo Suave, who's just as loud, if not more Spanish.
Well, I think in general, especially, I don't think New York really gets the credit for what it brings to wrestling as a whole as much as other areas in, the country and the world get.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. You got the Buffalo guys, you got the Rochester guys, you had the Syracuse guys. New York is a whole, just thrown together state, and it's got so much wrestling in it. Sometimes it can be a little too much, but, like you said, it's 2018 is booming. And I think this is the year where independent wrestling really explodes, because a couple of years back it was really booming, and I think right now it's about to boom again.
I think right now there's more out there for everyone, and I think that's just good for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we say that on every show now.
We do.
There's something out there for everybody.
It's becoming a running theme. I'm trying to get people to stop warring on Twitter over silly stuff. You can have a great debate, but you don't have to insult
Where did
people.
that come from?
I don't know.
Yeah, segues, man. Segues.
That wasn't a segue. I was just yelling at you.
You just didn't have one.
Twitter segue.
I was doing so well with them today. Another thing I want to know, though, what has UPW meant for you personally? Like you said, you thought your career was coming to an end, and you've kind of re-sparked it here at UPW.
Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, I moved to Rochester, and I made Rochester my home, and I enjoy wrestling in front of the audience. I enjoy wrestling in front of the crowd. These are the same guys I see. I'll be in a Walmart, or I'll be in the Grease Ridge Mall, and I hear kids and they're staring at me, and I'm thinking, oh shit, they're trying to steal my wallet or something. What's going on? And next thing I know, a kid comes up to me and he's like, yo, you're Chris Cayden, right? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yo, we saw videos of you online. And I was like, oh shit, all right, that's cool, man. I was like, yeah, right on, cool beans. And just the fact that I can perform in front of my hometown, as I say now, it just really, it electrifies me. I enjoy it.
Right, yeah, that's gotta feel pretty fucking awesome to just get noticed in public like that.
Yeah, and it's happened a couple of times. It's been a couple malls in this area, as I've walked through it with my wife, and they're like, hey, you're Chris Cayden. And I was like, son of a bitch.
And that's what you get from the independent wrestling scene. You get to be a hometown hero.
It's a great feeling, and even when it's funny because I actually one time was in New Jersey, and I was traveling down to another show in Brooklyn, and I happened to run into somebody, and they were like, yo, this might be a weird question. And I was like, yeah. They were like, yo, do you wrestle? And I was like, what? They're like, are you a wrestler? And I was like, they're like, you look familiar. And I'm like, oh yeah? They go, Chris something, Chris. I was like, son of a bitch. Yeah. I was like, Chris Cayden? And the guy's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, oh shit, that's fucking amazing. I was like, I guess.
That guy's got a really good memory.
Yes,
photographic.
I was impressed.
And that's
Who knows? Maybe he was bullshitting me, but I don't know. It felt good.
Maybe he lived in an apartment right above the ring he wrestled in all the time.
That would be funny.
So now, going back to UPW and the resparking of your career, you are currently one half of the UPW Tag Team Champions as part of Defiance. So most importantly, who is Defiance?
Defiance is me, Chris Cayden, and my partner Maximo Suave. He is the Rican sensation, if you will. He's a former UPW heavyweight champion. He is a former, I believe, headlocks and home runs champion. He's took on some names, and let's just say, I said my career was invigorated when I went to UPW. If you spoke to him, he will tell you straight out, meeting me invigorated his career because he was about to walk away, and that's a known fact. He was literally about to leave wrestling, and he met me, and I took him on the road with me, and next thing you know, a 13-hour trip to Maine, we turned into best friends, and it's just been legendary ever since.
I mean, that's pretty cool. It was fate. Got brought together, and now you guys are making things happen.
Pretty much, yeah. And the funny thing is, he wasn't even my original partner in Defiance. My original partner who goes by like 15 different names, but we'll say the name I gave him. His name is Raymond Risk. He's based out of Virginia. He was my tag team partner in American Championship Entertainment, and we won the Ace titles over there. We weren't supposed to be the champions, but because they needed a heel team to take the belts, it was us. And little did they know we had a little cult following. And we just another time we just took the belts and ran with it, and it worked out. But he's my original partner, Raymond Risk, out of Virginia.
Now, what do you feel is the potential for Defiant?
The potential? I feel the potential is... Let's just say we definitely have the opportunities to get to where we want to be. It's just if we're... How can I say this? If we're able to reach them, if that makes any sense. We're in all different areas. Me and Maximo are in Rochester. My other partner is in Virginia. We just spoke about this probably a couple of days ago. We want to make 2018 our year, and I know every other team and wrestler says that, but it's put up or shut up time. So this year, we want to do everything necessary to make it in this business. Like, we've made it in our minds, but now we want to move on to the bigger company. Like, I've always wanted to try out for Ring of Honor. My partner, Risk, tried out for Ring of Honor. This son of a bitch acted like me, and they said he was good, but he was a little too rapey. They literally said that to him. This is a true story. They told him he's a little too rapey because he acted, and he'll tell you he acted just like me. And they were like, "Yo, we liked it, but the thing is, we can't put that on television." True story. I've always wanted to try out for ROH. I would love for a tryout at WWE, but and being the size I am isn't the thing they're really looking for. But I'm going to try my hardest this year to make it, and I know my teammates are too.
That's great, and it's good that you're able to have, not just one teammate, but two teammates as a support system for each other to help you guys achieve your goal together and get there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because Defiance isn't just a tag team. It's not even a trio. It's actually a faction because we have another person in it. His name is Icon Ace, and originally out of Puerto Rico, another Spanish guy. He just jumped on the team probably this past year, and he's another one. He's hungry. He wants it. He's the UPW 585 Live champion, and he's another one. I'm telling you that, like, our team, our faction we have the hunger. Now we just need to chase it.
2018, baby.
That's what I'm saying.
And you're actually going to start off 2018 on January 13th, like you said, at UPW, the Merge, and it's going to be a unification match against the KDW Tag Team Champions Wrestling Liberation Front. So tell us what the Merge is going to be all about. You kind of touched on it a little bit already.
Well, the Merge is basically UPW and KDW. KDW was almost like a subsidiary of UPW. Think NXT to the WWE. That was what KDW was to UPW. There was a KDW Heavyweight Champion. There are KDW Tag Team Champions. And UPW has decided as a whole that we are now going to run under one umbrella, one name, and we're merging the championships. So the 585 Live is merging with the KDW Heavyweight Championship, and the tag team are merging. So you got UPW and KDW, and that would be us, and it's going to be one hell of a slobber knocker.
All right, and what can we expect specifically from your match against the Wrestling Liberation Front?
Well, you can expect a little of everything. Last month at the KDW show, it was the final KDW show, I got blasted in the back of the head with a chair. Then I got hit in the side of the neck with a belt. So I'm looking for some retribution, and I got some new stuff that I've been really trying out, especially this past training session tonight. I was trying out some stuff with my students, and I got some stuff for them. So yeah, I got a little new stuff. I got that 2018 new shit, and I'm gonna bring it out.
Old dog bringing some new tricks.
You got it.
All right. Now, as this is your platform, we want to give you this opportunity. If you have any statements you'd like to make to your opponents for the 13th, feel free. to take this opportunity to do so.
Absolutely. Well, Cloudy and Chris Worthless, better known as the Wrestling Liberation Front, I am so looking forward to January 13th because I'm going to take my size 10.5 shoe and I'm going to plant it so firmly up your ass. And I'm going to repeatedly plant my foot up your ass until I can no longer do it because it's just basically my leg going straight up your ass because I just made it so big. So I'm going to beat the ever-living piss out of you, and my partner's probably going to kick you in the teeth. So that's how I think we're going to win the match.
Now, do you think they'll submit, or you'll get the clean pin on that?
Oh, I'm going to get the clean pin.
All right.
I am aiming for that one.
Well, that seems like a very interesting strategy to take out somebody in a wrestling match.
Pretty messy way to get a clean pin.
Sometimes you got to use the penetrator. It is what it is.
Oh.
Now, before we get to his little experiment of the evening,
You got all these words for it.
you've spent a good 15 plus years in the business at this time. What do you believe are some of the most valuable lessons that you've learned?
To be yourself. I know, a gimmick is a play off of something else, but the more you make the gimmick yourself, the better it is for you. Like you said, like we spoke about earlier, really get the audience invested in you. Because if they're invested in you and they're invested in the match, it's going to be a pleasure to wrestle in front of them. If they're not, take my word for it, it's going to suck. And listen to your trainers because most times the trainer knows exactly what the hell they're talking about. Those are my my little life lessons to pass on.
Definitely some solid advice. And one more thing I want to know is, why do you still do all this?
That's a great question. I wish I had an answer for you.
Is it just that pure love still?
I love wrestling. It's sometimes it helps me get through the day. Sometimes I just love showing up. And other times I'm just questioning, why the hell do I still do this?
Like I say, as long as you still enjoy it, that's all that matters. If you're still able to connect with the fans and they're still enjoying it, then there's no reason you should stop. As long as you're not putting yourself at risk.
Exactly, absolutely. It's I've been injured a couple times, but it's sometimes a wonder how I can still do it because my injuries are they're pretty valid. So. Yeah, but I love it, and I just continue on doing it.
Yeah, but that feeding off that energy of the crowd, that's gotta keep you motivated.
Absolutely, that's sometimes just what I need, and sometimes that's all I need.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, anybody out there doing anything, whether it's wrestling, we do a podcast. We don't, do it for ourselves. We do it to share something with an audience. And speaking of our audience, how can our audience get a hold of you?
Oh, well, you can follow me all over social media. The Chris Cayden. Don't type in just Chris Cayden because that's a glorified producer who I've heard sucks.
Good.
But if you type in The Chris Cayden, I'm bound to show up. I have my own website, thechriscayden.com. I'm on Pro Wrestling Tees, The Chris Cayden. Just basically type in The Chris Cayden. I'm happen to pop up on your computer.
Yeah, so I actually ran into that same problem with the film producer. So I just actually found you on Twitter, so now I can follow you. So I just sent you a follow.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
I was like, where is this guy? I'm typing the name in right. He's not coming up.
Yeah, he's a glorified producer. And then I looked up more of him, and I'm like, wow, these people really don't like him. He must do some shitty work. And then I watched some of his work, and I was like, oh, God, yeah, he's horrible.
And you have to have the same name as him.
Yeah, stop plugging him.
I know.
Yeah, I know. He's probably 20 people are going to go check his shit out now just because. Like, I got to see how bad
they're
this is.
They're going to be like, oh, I gotta check this out. What is he talking about? It's dog shit.
He's going to get, Google alerts. Like, people Googling my name all of a sudden.
Yeah. Yeah, well, God bless. You're welcome.
We want some kickback on that. The fake Chris Cayden.
Absolutely.
All right, so it is the time for my co-host to unhinge the gimmick table and tell us what he came up with today.
Oh, boy.
Oh, well, I figure we'll obviously ring in the new year with little throwback of memories from the old year. So, some New Year's traditions here. Just who would you spend these traditions with? Yeah, that was not a good segue. I feel like Matt.
No,
I've been
I'm
on
a
point
little
tonight.
scared. I'm like, what the?
I don't know what's going on.
I mean, like all of these things, you'll get it once we get rolling, because you'll have to.
Oh, okay.
His explanations are horrible.
I'm not real good at explaining things. But all right,
You're
so
trying. That's all that matters.
a big part of New Year's Eve is obviously Times Square. That's a really really cool place. You're from that area originally, so you know that.
Yeah.
But what would you
do.
say was the best venue of 2017?
The best venue that I've been in.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say that I wrestled in. Where the hell? Well, I wrestled for WXWC4. It was at a. It was almost like Hog Wild for WCW. It was like one of those festivals. It was so weird, but I enjoyed it. It was definitely different. Also, I wrestled for them in Pennsylvania in an auditorium. That was pretty sweet. The setup and everything was very ECW like. Yeah, I'm trying to think if anything comes to mind, but those are the ones that just spark off my head right away.
No, they sound fun.
Yeah, they were. It was definitely interesting watching the Cowboys and the guys revving up their cars and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, this is weird. And the first thing that pops in my head is WCW Hog Wild. I was like, what in the fuck?
All right, so another tradition which just happens to occur in Times Square is the ball drop. So who would you say their balls finally dropped in 2017?
Wow.
The balls dropped?
Wow.
Jesus. Oh.
Man, you're really putting people on the spot today, man.
It's a new year.
Yeah, wow, this is some questions. Jesus.
I'm gonna
You really
make
thought these up, didn't you?
I'm gonna make a new New Year's resolution to go with my first New Year's resolution. I'm gonna make you get approval for all the gimmick table unhinged.
I can show you the text messages where this was approved.
You didn't tell me the questions.
Oh, Jesus, I can't even. Their balls dropped. So,
Well, let's.
Who finally like came into their?
Well, we kind of spoke about you gaining your confidence. Is there anybody, one of the younger guys that you've been around that you've kind of seen taking those steps towards building that confidence, or they've reached that level of confidence?
Right.
yeah.
Metaphorical
I think,
ball dropping.
I'll go with that. I'm going to use the balls dropped line because I think that's hilarious. But
It wasn't negative.
I'm going to say his balls dropped this year. I think Icon Ace, the guy I named earlier, he really he stepped his game up. He's only done it for like 4 or 5 years, but he's really made a name for himself in the Rochester area as well. And people love to come out and see him. And he's a title holder. And his matches are always streamed live because that's the gimmick for the 585 Live. It's I really think he's found the place and he's stepping his game up now.
Nice.
That's why I'm here to elaborate on how the question could somehow connect in a positive light.
Well, I could have got us there in like 5 more minutes of explanation.
We would have froze to death because the heat would have been off for so long.
All right, so here's another weird one. So that song that everybody sings, that Old Lang Syne, that all acquaintance before, yeah. All right. So that's like all about the old part of the year. I don't know. Anyways, who you think officially became like a grandpa in 2017? Finally getting old.
Who's getting old?
Yeah.
Or maybe that guy that everybody's starting to look up to.
What's that?
Maybe like
the guy people are starting to see as like the role model they want to be.
Oh Jesus. I could say that about myself, for God's sakes. I feel like I'm getting old, but I don't know if it's off my mind. I can't really. I would have to say that people really look up to. They watch him on TV all the time, so I would have to say John Cena. I think, he's getting old. He's getting up there. He's getting to that age where he probably shouldn't be wrestling anymore sooner or later. And he's been taking bumps for how many years now? And everyone looks up to him. So yeah, I'll say that one. Let's go with the safe choice.
All right. Yeah.
I think that's a great answer, and step it outside of the independent a little bit. But yeah, he is kind of getting old, and I mean we've even kind of talked about it. He's at legendary stat. He's at max capacity. Like he couldn't get more
Max
famous.
capacity.
Yeah, well, he's still got it. He can still go, but how many bumps does he still have left on his bump card? Because my man has been taking those nasty bumps for years now, and sooner or later it's going to catch up to him. It catches up to everybody.
Right, and every true legend has to have the comeback tour, and then the comeback tour part 2 and 3
and then
4.
And then the retired tour, and then oh shit, I was just kidding tour. Yeah.
Right, so he's got to make
Surprise,
sure
I'm back
he's got to
tour.
save bumps for all that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Plus, when he gets up into his 80s and he's got to take the occasional bump for the WWE.
Yeah, he's got to do the Hogan. He's got to do the Hogan every now and then.
All right,
Even Vince has to.
Yeah, true.
All right, so another tradition is kissing at midnight. So who is your celebrity crush of 2017?
My celebrity crush.
This is a wrestling podcast. Where are we?
Wrestlers are celebrities too, but it doesn't have to
Yeah,
be.
no, celebrity. Doesn't have to be wrestler. Okay. Let's see. Who is my celebrity crush? Hold on. Let me ask my wife. Who's my celebrity crush? Which one is that? I don't know. No, what's her name? Emma.
Stone? Watson?
Yeah. Emma Stone, right?
The redhead
Yeah. I guess.
from
That's what I always think
Superbad.
she's cute. I'm getting looked at like you piece of shit.
We're sorry. That was all my co-host. I'll give you his address.
I'm not
if you
sorry. It's just
need- If she kicks you out, I'll give you his address so you can come stay with him.
Very nice. I hope you have a comfortable couch or some shit. 'Cause I'm getting the look of death at the moment.
Way to go, Bats.
it'll pass. Make a
You
resolution.
know my wife.
For your safety, we can stay on the line.
Yeah.
Keep the lines recording.
All right. So another tradition that people do. I think this is just in Louisiana.
That was such a weird voice you just used.
I got this list from a website, but I'm pretty sure this is just in Louisiana. It says Southern America, but I'm assuming only people in Louisiana think that black eyed peas somehow look like money. And that is they eat a pot of black eyed peas for dinner on New Year's. That's gonna bring them prosperity. So who do you think was the most prosperous of 2017?
What do I think was, or who do I think was?
Who do you think was, or maybe do you think a promotion that stepped up their game or something like that?
I think I'm gonna say UPW stepped their game up from the production value to everything in between. I think we're stepping our game up. Keep an eye on us, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, looking forward to even more prosperous 2018.
Got it.
So this next one comes from South America,
Okay.
specifically Brazil, where all the ladies dress up in some nice, colorful underwear.
Oh my god.
So who do you think was the best dressed of 2017?
The best dressed of 2017. If you watch basketball, I'm gonna have to go with Russell Westbrook.
Oh,
Definitely the best dressed. My man puts on some wacky, friggin' colorful, just attire. We'll go with that. Yeah, my man I don't know if he's blind or if he's just not really paying attention when he dresses himself, but definitely go with him.
Maybe we should change your celebrity crush to Russell Westbrook.
Nah.
No. And maybe Westbrook needs to learn to win without Kevin Durant. But hey, that's a different podcast.
Aww.
All right, so the last one I have here is the fireworks of the last fireworks of the year, first fireworks of the new year. What was the most thrilling moment of 2017?
I would have to say me and my partner winning the UPW tag team titles at headlocks and home runs in a danger zone match with Teddy Long watching the match from beginning to end.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a hell of a match, especially when Teddy pulls you aside and goes, "Players, you did a hell of a job. Holy shit. I ain't never seen motherfuckers get everybody up from one side of the building to the next. Players, you should be on TV." I was like, holy shit. He's either lying to us or he really enjoyed that match.
That's great.
Either way, it's great to hear.
But that was awesome.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
That's a pretty good impression.
I try.
Is that all your questions?
That was the last one I had. That was ending.
You're off point. You're terrible. What I was going to say is I'm really thankful, Chris, that he didn't use the creepy voice for the question about the girls in the underwear.
Oh, my. Yeah, that would have been fucking really weird because that voice that you used that one time was extraordinarily creepy. You never do that shit again.
No, I can retake. Hold on.
No,
so down in South America
move on from that.
with the women in Brazil.
We're moving on, dude. We're past that. Yeah, please don't do that. The goal is to maintain and get new listeners, not lose the ones that we've already established.
Hey, a lot of these listeners may love this new voice I got going on. It's just
No,
so buttery
no.
and smooth.
No. So, Chris, have you ever thought about being a co-host for a wrestling podcast as well?
Funny story. I used to do my own podcast. So, if there's a spot missing, somebody comes up, they want to fire him or something.
All right.
Tell me.
Don't be calling any of your buddies from back in the city.
I will keep you in mind if anything happens. And thank you for joining us today. We had a lot of fun. I apologize that the Unhinged was very strange. Usually
that wasn't that bad.
it was that you got
You asked me, well, who do I think their balls dropped? That's just.
But you had a great
little
answer
weird.
for it, and your buddy's gonna appreciate it.
Oh yeah, he's gonna listen and go, "What in the fuck is wrong with you?" And I'm just gonna go, "Your balls dropped, bro. Be happy."
Or you could just tell them that is people from Binghamton.
Oh, there you go.
We are a strange bunch of people, but we hope you the best. January 13th, we hope you are successful in maintaining your titles and unifying the titles. And anybody in that area, make sure you get out there and check it out. Do you guys have any way of people can check it out online, streaming services, anything like that?
We definitely, like I said, we definitely stream the 585 live match, but we can always try new things. Just look us up online at Upstate Professional Wrestling. You type it in, the website's bound to pop up. It's a long ass website. I don't remember the whole thing, but I always like to sometimes stream some live material because of I'm very I think outside the box, and I like to try new things. And check me out on, like I said, at the Chris Cayden on all social media, and I'm sure that you'll find something happening on January 13th.
Awesome. We look forward to it. And guys, you will be able to also find all his information right on our website as well. Chris, thank you once again for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day. And we hope everything you're looking forward to in 2018 happens for you with great success.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. And again, tell him never to use that voice again because he can get arrested. It sounded very much like a pedophile and it was creepy.
If he ever uses it again, I'll bring him to Rochester just so you can give him that penetrator.
There you go. He's not ready for the penetrator.
The voice might be.
He's not ready for the penetrator.
I'm gonna get home and Chris Hansen's gonna be in my kitchen.
Oh.
Sir, I have a question for you.
Oh no, it's Chris Hansen.
But yeah, I enjoyed it, man. I had fun. Thanks again.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to our New Year's Day episode. And thank you to Chris Cayden for being our guest today. We had a lot of fun, and we got some rules for 2018. Out of this one, Bats, you are never allowed to use that creepy voice again, or you're going to receive a penetrator. And apparently you can never ask another wrestler to tell us when another wrestler's balls have dropped. That's not allowed. That is not kosher going forward on the gimmick table.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You got, 51 more episodes this year? Let's get some improvements on that Unhinged. Make some resolutions.
I'm perfect.
Yeah, that's great. And if you're perfect...
I'm Gucci, man.
Okay. Our sound guy's favorite word, Gucci, or when he gets tired of that, Versace. Yeah. But I'm all Levi.
Because you're a hipster.
Yeah, great. Woohoo. For 2018, I've given up my hipsterness. That's my resolution.
That wasn't like a gimmick, though. That's just you.
No, that was all a gimmick.
Yeah, okay.
It's the gimmick table, guys.
35 years of your life have just been a gimmick?
Oh, I'm only 32 years old, so it's a little hard to go past that. And fuck you. But if you guys enjoy the show, make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. And make sure you listen next week, like we told you before, when we announce the winner of our December contest to get a autographed 8x10 photograph of Cody Rhodes.
Who's it gonna be?
Who's gonna win? Never know. Well, we'll know soon. We'll know after we'll know here soon. I'm gonna do it after the episode, sure.
What? We should do it live on...
We can do it live.
We should do a little Periscope for it.
All right. And the way you'll be able to find out about that Periscope, guys, is by following us on Twitter at @gimmick_table. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at Gimmick Table Wrestling Podcast. Just search that on either of those social media platforms. And make sure you check out our friends as well. We have the WNA Podcast. They can be found on Twitter at WNA Podcast, on Facebook at Wrestling Nerds Alliance, or I think it's WNA Podcast because they changed their name. And you can listen to them on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podbean. Let's take it away with the next one. I know you love when I do this.
Yep. Give it up for the peasants of the Periscope.
The peasants of the Periscope. I like it.
Wretched Wrestling. And you can catch them on Twitter and just search at Wretched Wrestle. And Facebook is Wretched Wrestling, which will also help you when you look for them on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, and Podbean. I mean, they're everywhere, man. But catch them on Periscope. They like to show their faces. I don't know if anybody likes to look at their faces, but they want
Craig's
you to
not
see them.
bad, but Fred. And that's what you lack, is you don't have what the true royalty of the Periscope has.
You peasants, you plebes.
You're fucking peasants. When we have royalty next, we have the Smart Spot Podcast. Make sure you follow them on the Smart Spot on Twitter or on Facebook, same name. And you can find them on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podbean. And they have a great show every Thursday on Periscope. Catch it live.
The kings of Periscope.
You're up, killer.
And speaking of killers, check out Raw is War.
That's not gonna make any sense when I cut out me saying you're up, killer.
Why would you cut it out then?
Just to make you sound like an idiot.
Oh, whatever. Catch Raw is War on Twitter, Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podiant.
And last and least, just kidding, guys. We have the fake broadcast because we are the real broadcast, yet they are better at being the broadcast. I don't know how it works. But you can find them on Twitter at the broadcast, and that is with a K because, again, as always, especially in 2018 now, guys, there is no C in the Australian alphabet. Crikey. And you can also find them on Facebook by searching The Broadcast and listen to them on iTunes. That is our New Year's episode. We will see you next Monday at 9 a.m. with another show and the announcement of our first winner. Wait, nope, we're going to do a Periscope. My bad. I don't know what's going on right now. It's late and I'm cold. Have a good day, people.
See ya.